14 months in the making, everybody. We're back again. The Young Bucks taking on Santana and Ortiz. This is the first tag team match they've had in over 14 months, which is telling because they have been encountering each other in battle royales, which is telling of how restrained AEW can be with their big matches because you would want to book Santana and Ortiz against the Young Bucks a lot, at least in another company's perspective. But yeah, and I recall watching their match at Full Gear, which was a classic and then they got their asses, and then Santana and Ortiz got their asses handed to them by the Rock and Roll Express, who were like cruiserweights because I don't know, technology got to them apparently. But yeah, this is the first time in 14 months they had a proper 2-on-2 matchup, and this also proves to how stacked the tag team division is, in my opinion, because you have all these teams, you got all these events going on, and now you're having this collision course on board with Santana Ortiz after 14 months, nearly over a year and a few months, in 2 months, and how they kept them still interacting even despite the whole ordeal. Like they interact in battle royales, they interact in the cinematic spring and stadium stampede match, and now you got the Good Brothers lurking in the shadows, looking like they're just waiting for their opportune time to screw the Young Bucks over big time. And despite the Young Bucks getting their asses kicked for the majority of everything, they're the tag team champions. So they did come out in the media skirm after Full Gear that after they won the belt, they said, "Oh, we didn't even want to win the tag team belts. We wanted to keep another year away from it." And then Tony Khan said, "No, no, no. I want to have them be the champs." Which is a commendable of the Young Bucks because they basically admitted we would have rather waited an entire year when there are so many variables that could go wrong, and we've already waited like what, a year and a half. We could have risked it. We could have made the risk. And now you have all these interlaying storylines going on with Santana Ortiz in the inner circle in the wake of Sammy Guevara's betrayal and departure from the group, much to MJF's inner glee and Chris Jericho's inner despair as he says, "You're dead to me, Sammy. You're dead to me. I have no son." I'm amazed Jericho didn't even go that far ahead because he would be like, "I saw you as a son, and you said you would join us," and not the go all Obi-Wan Kenobi on us with how saying Sammy turned on us, he joined the elite. If he ever got involved again, he's taking a couple of weeks off, it seems, in the wake of the whole Impact debacle alleged event. Yeah, apparently he was supposed to show up on Impact. He said no. Oh, even though he agreed to it, and they were sitting at heat, but they're saying there's no heat, but it says everything is golden between the two companies, so that's at least good. But it does make Sammy's reputation with fans a little iffy with when you already have the incident with the jokes he made. And I use that term very extremely loosely. Yeah. And also, when I was looking at this from the Young Bucks' match storyline with the Good Brothers as part of the Restoration of the Territories crossover event, I keep thinking, are they even going to make it to Revolution as the champs? Like, you got Santana Ortiz coming after them, you got MJF and Jericho coming after them, but now you got the Good Brothers, like, trying to be all buddies with the Young Bucks, but now it's like, oh, they're probably not being buddies. They're probably trying to screw them over and take too long, or try and weaken them. So when they do lose, they can say, "Oh, it's all your fault. It's not our fault," even though we had complete involvement in this. Which will probably further conflict Kenny Omega since it seems like he wants to still be their friend, which he does try and prove with the tragic mutilation of Michael Nakazawa at the hands of devil children. Those little munchkins. Evil. Ah, yes, children. They are nowadays the satanic spawns of the world, I think. Like, they want to hang out with Kenny Omega. He says no, but you can play with Michael Nakazawa. He gets destroyed and mutilated. And they even say they hate him. Kids are rough. So, yeah. Yeah, they did this whole Kenny Omega's reading to a bunch of kids and everything. And I kept thinking, like, are they parroting Bush when he was talking, reading a book to a classroom on a very specific day that I don't really want to cover because it's still dark? Because it just came out of nowhere for me. Like, I know they're trying to go ahead and say something about Kenny Omega trying to be he's the working champ. Like, it's just the way Kenny's been going about this has confused me. Like, every time, like, 1 week right before, like, he's in the midst of this New Japan crossover involvement and the potential of the Bullet Club starting to get involved in their business, and he's golfing, and I'm like, man, do I want to pull the pin on that grenade? Because I think of one other person when they're golfing and it's during a very serious build up to something that could go horribly, horribly wrong for someone. And now he's doing this kids reading to a class right before something big's going to happen for him on AEW. Is Kenny Omega trying to incorporate presidential activities? Like, I'm just spitballing here, but yeah, he also jokes around like about how another kid asking them, "Are they in love?" When he's reading the Young Bucks book, Killing the Business, and he just says, "So it looks that way. They are brothers, so their familiar bond is clearly the focus." And several of the kids aren't wearing masks, so while I could go ahead and say evil children, but I'm not gonna fault them because they're children. It's definitely not like that one person I know that was in high school and goes ahead and plays dumb one day and decides to run around ground zero with his arms spread out like a plane. If he ever sees this, I still hate that guy. Like, and the balls to say, I forgot where we were. Okay. So, the Young Bucks and Santana and Ortiz. So, when I look at this match, it was pretty good, but it wasn't their best match together, I thought. Like, it was pretty okay tag team wrestling. Like, I get the feeling since they haven't done this in a while, they had to get things going. They had to find a way to make this work. And plus, you gotta count that they have, like, 3 different storylines going on at the same time. The Young Bucks relationship with Omega and the Good Brothers, and Santana Ortiz's issues and potentially MJF's coup d'etat, and Sammy Guevara's departure from the group. Yeah, that's basically 3 storylines, and they're trying to wedge in the 4th one, which they have acknowledged is the rubber match between the Young Bucks and Santana Ortiz, and sadly they don't use a weld up sock. It would have been funny. So, yeah. And there was a real chance it looked like they were gonna lose the belts. Like Santana Ortiz were gonna walk out with the titles. And Chris Jericho was all hyped. He got thrown he and the Inner Circle got thrown out because the referees are highly taking authority, whereas Aubrey Edwards knowingly actively physically got involved in the match and kicked Chris Jericho's hand, which I'm pretty sure could have been counted for negligence, but I'm not a referee in wrestling. Referees in wrestling are either Earl Hebners or getting the crap beaten out of them. Or you could be WWE's referees and have spinelessness in them. But yeah. So Santana and Ortiz look like they're going to go ahead and get the victory when they throw Matt to the barricade. And it did look like... And there was a moment I looked like they were going to win, but Matt flies over the referee and whatnot, and that flies over the referee and nearly knocks him out. And yeah, they get mad, and then Ortiz stands on the apron and shouts, "The best, the best, the best, the best!" And then goes into the ring, and Nick just grabs him in the inside cradle and gets the pinfall 1, 2, and 3, thus retaining the titles, and once again disappointing the Inner Circle. Thus, they go onto the offensive and begin their beatdown on the Young Bucks. Omega is backstage watching with Don Callis and the Good Brothers. Omega wants to go and help, but Don tells him not to. Oh, yes. Join the dark side, Omega. And the Good Brothers are whispered something and holds Omega back. And in the ring, with Jericho and MJF having their submission moves on Matt and Nick, they start tapping, and finally the Good Brothers roll out to even the odds. Jericho goes on the outside, gets in the face of the Young Bucks for dad. He shoves Jericho to the chest, and Hager holds Jericho back. MJF yells, he will pay for that. I'm pretty sure we're going to see him knocked down and bleeding. Or it's going to be revealed that he's the one sending the cease and desist files about Too Sweet. Think about it. And then it's revealed, and then during this whole thing, QT Marshall, I think, gets his ass handed to him. So yeah, that's a thing. Jake Hager murders him on that. And yeah, the Good Brothers clearly have a plan up their sleeve regarding the Young Bucks. They're doing it right now. They're building to it. They're building to the Young Bucks losing the belts, either by the Young Bucks losing because they get getting beat down and not timely rescued, or the Good Brothers are going to intentionally cost them by sabotaging them from within, which will lead into the epic tag team match of the Good Brothers versus the Young Bucks for Kenny Omega's affections. Because that's literally what it sounds like at this point. And man, I'm going to be excited for that. But yeah, this was okay. Not really much of anything. It mostly was focusing more on progressing storylines than it was actually doing a quality matchup. And for this and since they decreed this was the rubber match, it does kind of disappoint on that front. But it was pretty good for what it was. And we did give story and character progression with this, so I'm not so give or take with that. Still advocating for the G1 Climax version of tag team wrestling to be happening in AEW. Come on. You have 30 tag teams? Come on, just do it. Do it! Do it! Just do it! Just do it! So, yeah, this was Neo Reality presenting the WrestleVerse, presenting the AEW World Tag Team Championship match between the Young Bucks and Santana and Ortiz, aka The Best, aka LAX, aka Pride and Powerful. Oh, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my content in the description below. I'll see you all next time. Take care, everybody. Stay safe out there. Peace, everyone. And just remember, too sweet!